It's Cormac Battle again for 2FM at the Phoenix Park for the series of gigs tonight, which is being headlined by Snow Patrol and Florence the Machine, and also these lovely gentlemen from Melbourne, Australia. It is the Temper Trap. I'm joined by Johnny and Toby. Johnny is actually Jonathan, but for the sake of this interview, we're going to slightly dumb him down to Johnny just for this. Anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. I know the weather is rather inclement. Well, you guys live in London now, so you'd be used to this kind of thing anyway. Because you've been living in, is it 3 years? And what's it like living in London for you guys? And are you ever going to go back to Australia?
Every time I start talking about it, my wife goes, "You can't actually say that I've lived there because we've been on tour the whole time." So she sort of claims to be the one suffering through the miserable weather. Only the weather. The place that we live is really good. There's lots of lovely little coffee shops and all those sort of dainty things.
Where is it?
We live in Hackney, and there's just, I'm a man of simple taste and pleasures. I like a good coffee and a good beer, and there's ample of those two things there. So
interesting times in Hackney. Do you live in Hackney as well?
Yeah.
Interesting times last summer.
Yeah, I mean, last summer was very, it was a bit of a shock to the system for everyone. And
these are obviously we're talking about the riots that happened in Hackney and all around London really, but Hackney was pretty bad.
Yeah, well, one of the kind of hot spots, Dougie and where I live now as well, is about 20 metres from Mare Street where that kind of all kicked off. So we were right in the thick of it on the day, and yeah, it definitely kind of left an impression on us.
Not the kind of thing you'd see in Melbourne very often.
Not at all. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's get away from the geopolitics for a little while and talk about music. Your second album is fantastic. Congratulations on it, by the way. It's called The Temper Trap because obviously you were just too lazy, or is there some other profound reason?
The profound reason is that we argued to that level where things were going to get ugly if we didn't just peace out and settle for that middle ground where it was just called The Temper Trap. So there was two different sort of ideas of what we wanted the album to be called, and to The Temper Trap's sort of glory and ruin, we're a democracy and we vote and we argue. So it's called...
What were the other titles? Go on, tell me.
We haven't revealed. Toby, have you ever revealed?
Come on.
Yeah. One was The Trouble with Pain, and the other was The Sea is Calling was the other two.
The Sea is Calling is very Seamus Heaney, poet, very poetic, and The Trouble with Pain, we can all relate to that, but that's good. Yeah. But I think The Trouble with Pain would have been a good one. But anyway, we've got The Temper Trap. Never mind. Next time we're voting, I'll give you a call. That never happened, lads. Get it together next time. So, Ireland really loves you in a kind of a disproportionate way. I was saying this to a band earlier on, We Are Augustines, that, like bands like Mercury Rev are huge in this country relative to the size of the population. And Ireland really has embraced you. So I've sucked up like hard enough now at this point. And it leads me on to probably the question that bugs you the most, and it's about Sweet Disposition from your album Conditions, which is a brilliant album. But Sweet Disposition, the song, was that, I know it was such a surprise hit for you, and then did it become a double-edged sword whereby everybody associated with this song and the label or management were saying, listen lads, I don't care what you do, give us another Sweet Disposition for this record?
Oh yeah, I mean obviously the label are going to want a song that reaches the fans in the same way that did. There was some pressure. We were pretty good at kind of keeping that at bay, and I guess just letting, we tried to get back to the place where we were when we were writing Conditions, just keeping it simple and letting the songs come, not having a formula, not trying too hard to copy something that had been successful. And for the most part I think we kind of were able to achieve that. But yeah, definitely once you start playing songs to the labels, they start putting their 2 cents in, and that you're aware of their expectations.
Yeah, because I can imagine, you can see it from their point of view as well. That's exactly what they want, and it would be very easy for a band like yourselves to say, do you know what, let's throw in a few of those songs, let's sell 10 million copies of this album. But you didn't do that because you have integrity?
I guess so, but that answer sounds so much better. But to be honest, I probably wouldn't know. I personally don't know. I don't know if anyone would really know how to recreate that song or the connection that song has just had. It happened in a place in time as well.
Yeah,
and it's sort of that song ended up in so many different avenues, and it sort of took on a life of its own that was beyond anything that we could execute or try to plan, you know what I mean? And that song happened naturally. So that's sort of fundamental of trying to keep things natural. We just, for this, when we wrote the second album, we're just like, let's just, whatever happens, and if we write a song that connects in that way, great. And if it doesn't, because we really don't know, we don't know what,
leave that to Simon Cowell.
Yeah, he seems to know what's going on, or he has an opinion about it, doesn't he?
So is this just the way the music industry works now for bands? Because everything is so fragmented. It's not just get an album, put it out on a label, tour, make another album. Everything's Twitter. Like music is free to people these days. Like if you talk to a teenager, they will see no ethical issue in downloading a song for free. That's just the way it is. And like a lot of your music off your last album, and what might happen on the new album as well, or your latest album, is that it will be licensed out to adverts, it'll be licensed out to telly and all that kind of stuff. Do you see that as selling out, or do you see that, obviously not, but do you see it as part of just the way bands have to be funded these days?
It's not just about funding. I mean, you get money for doing things like that, but more so the exposure is the great thing. And TV shows and ads are places where people are able to discover music now. And for us, that's been the kind of main thing. Obviously, as more and more bands do it, the kind of price that you're getting paid to do things like that just goes down and down. So it's much more just the platform of getting music out there and getting someone to hear it, and that might be the thing that leads them to iTunes to buy a couple of tracks, come to a show, buy the CD, buy a T-shirt, so on and so forth. I think that's just getting your music in front of people is the tricky thing these days. So
because MTV is not a music channel anymore.
Yeah, those avenues have just gone, and radio, especially for guitar bands, radio kind of at the moment, it's
Jessie J.
Yeah, it's not. They're really into that kind of more R&B sound. So if you've got a guitar in your band, then it's really tricky at the moment just to fight through all that other stuff and to have a chance of finding fans that will like your stuff.
So it's all about really finding alternative avenues to do that. And I see, like Moby did the same thing. Like he did that with his album Play, and he sort of brought it to the world by through advertising and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't apologise for it at all. He said, "Look, this is what I do. I'm a musician. I want as many people in the world to hear my music, whichever way that may be. And if you think I'm a sellout, check out my bank balance." Anyway, finally, you toured with Florence before, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How was that?
We did a tour actually through Ireland with her, and we've bumped into them and their band around the world. And
this is Florence and the Machine, not Florence Nightingale. She was a she was a nurse, I think, from the Crimean War or something.
And it's one of those things where it's delightful when you can go to another country and you actually bump into someone because often it's like you just sort of hang around and there's this sort of, I don't know, you can go to all these festivals and not really talk to anyone or whatever. So it's nice to have them around, and their sound and their album's amazing, and the Machine.
Tell us something awful about them.
Oh, something awful. I can tell you.
Bass player's got smelly feet.
I can tell you, we went out with them last night, and we got danced around like idiots and all that sort of stuff. There was nothing.
Tell it like it is.
I'm not. I'm trying. I don't know. See, I'm just keep mumbling here. I don't have anything awful to say.
That's all right. I'll let you off the hook. Anyway, look, guys, seriously, Toby and Johnny, the best of luck, and thanks for coming over to Ireland to play. And I'm sorry about the weather, but nothing we can do about that. And good luck with the gig tonight, and good luck with the latest album. And hopefully I'll get to talk to you again.